Hello, my name is Buffy. I'm coming to you live for this little mini series, the Nap Time series. It's taking place during my children's nap and rest time. I introduced myself in an earlier video. I am a busy mother of 4, a yoga instructor, and I am completing this video series as a part of my 300-hour teacher training with Edge Yoga School online. So thanks so much for joining me today. If you are from Edge Yoga School, welcome. And even if you're not, welcome. I have been doing a segment of this series on the chakras, but we're going to take a little break today and jump into kids yoga. Something that's really fun and fresh and very much needed in our world today. The children on our planet right now are also going through all these transitions and changes the same way that we are as adults, yet they don't have the kind of emotional awareness or verbal skills even yet to express or to get help or to seek healing. So kids yoga, kids meditation, it's really heavy on my heart right now. I'm actually going to revamp a program here in my community. We're just going to meet at local parks and do like a 6-week series and see where it goes from there. But we're going to jump into kids yoga, and every time I bring you a certain type of yoga on a video, like kids yoga, stand-up paddleboard yoga, things like that, I'm going to go through just the question words. So why, who, where, what, and how much. So just letting you know what's worked for me. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you or that it has to be this way for everybody, but I'm just sharing what I have come to know and what has worked for me. So we're going to jump in. Kids yoga. Why? Because our kids are experiencing all of these same changes and transitions as we are as adults, like I just mentioned, especially this year in 2020. In addition to that, they're going through the transitions of childhood towards adulthood, which, in and of itself is pretty traumatic. Losing all that magic, which you don't have to lose. I could do a whole series on keeping the magic alive in the kids and the way that we homeschool here and the type of educational approach that I've come to value and really try to use with my kids. It's just keeping that wonder alive. Teaching them as a whole human being rather than teaching them as if they lack something that they need in order to be a successful, happy human or adult. Just kind of more a hands-off approach. Anyway, I'm getting into homeschool stuff. Okay, back to kids yoga. So the kids just don't always have the verbal skills and emotional awareness just yet to express everything the way that we sometimes do. And that's not any fault of theirs. They're just growing up, and sometimes adults don't even learn those skills, which is why yoga is healing for us too. It reaches a part of us that other things can't quite seem to get to. So yeah, we've got yoga and meditation, 2 great tools that can be customized to reach children right where they are. And isn't that the beauty of our practice? It somehow reaches across all of our boundaries and lifts us up to greater awareness and fulfillment and just self-expression. So if you're feeling inspired to help your community and the young people in your community by guiding them with this gift, and it's really a lifelong gift, then this lesson might prove beneficial to you. I'm reading from my notes. So I'm not pulling from any specific source today. This is just my experience. So that was the why. I think it's important to start with your why. Why am I doing this? So if you're feeling led to do that, if you already have a connection with children in general, like I do, go for it. You might like it. Who? So kids yoga is catered best, in my opinion and in my experience, to kids ages 4 to 11. It's good to put that cap on there at 11. Even that might be too old for some kids. I know different kids advance at different levels, but it's really hard to differentiate your lesson and your practice across too big of an age span. If you wanted to, you could even break it up into 2 of those, like say ages 4 to 8 and then 9 to 11 might be even better. Otherwise, for younger than 4, you could do mommy and me classes. I don't recommend anything younger than by 4 they're potty trained and you know, they can express themselves with words generally. So anything younger than that, I would want the parent to be there. And so a mommy and me class could be great. It's really fun. You can do those anywhere from infants to toddlers. And then anything over 11, I would go ahead and start catering for teen yoga. So we've got the why, the who. We're moving on to where. You can rent out a local studio. You can work with a local studio that you already that you already teach at, and just say, hey, let's try this program. And you don't have to start with like a 6-week program right off the bat. You can trial run. You can test it out and see if it's something that your community even needs. You could, especially lately, people are liking outdoor stuff. So you could use a public outdoor space like a park, or even a library. Sometimes libraries have outdoor spaces or even indoor spaces. I know our library offers yoga, and it's free for the community, but they pay you as the instructor from the library fund. You could use this as, like I said, like a little 6-week kind of informal short class, almost like a sport that kids would do, an activity. Or you could just do like once a month parent night outs. I've done that and been very successful. The parents are so happy to have a break and to know that their kids are being poured into and loved and receiving enrichment from yoga and meditation. And they go out, if you do it during the day, they go out to the farmer's market on a Saturday, or they go have a cup of coffee by themselves. You know, moms need this too, so it's a blessing to them, and dads. And then, or if it's a nighttime one, you can do like a parents' night out kind of thing where they go out on a date or whatever they want to do, but you can just kind of advertise it like that. So what you will need, supplies, you'll need a waiver for sure. You want to make sure you are covered. Accidents happen, so you need to have that. You need to have like a first aid kit. Anything that could happen, you need to think about it. You need to make sure you're aware of children's allergies. You need to have on that waiver, list your allergies, list emergency contacts, make sure they're okay with you taking their picture and using it in your advertising or whatever. You just need to know anything like specific. Like I had one child who had an EpiPen, so they brought that every time. Had another child, and I'm not saying you should do this, but I felt comfortable administering her seizure medication. So they like labeled it in a Ziploc, and I set a timer on my phone, and at that time she had to have it. If I hadn't done that, she wouldn't have been able to come, and her brother was going to come. So it was no problem for me, and it actually helped me just check the clock and make sure we were going on schedule. So anyway, make sure you're aware of all of those little things. Try to think of everything. There are waivers online that you can just borrow from that are free to use, and they say you can reuse them. So waiver, you want to have a snack that is compliant with any allergies, so probably avoiding nuts and things like that. Enough mats for everybody, any game supplies, and any rewards that you want to do towards the end. So the different types that you could do, I mean, you don't have to do any of these. It could just be yoga and that's it. But I find that kids, you know, a lot of them are new to yoga, so it's kind of like, that's just something like my mom does or old people do, you know. But if you make it fun and advertise it in a way that they're excited about, then it's a lot more fun. So we've done yoga and games where we play, like, we do a yoga flow always, but for yoga and games we would also do like Twister, or like there's so many different fun yoga games. You can find things like this on Amazon, just like these puzzle pieces, and you can either make your own yoga mat, there's tons of them, or you can just look at them and like almost like a memory matching game, and when you pull one up, there's so many things you could do with these. One thing kids really love is an obstacle course. So like if you're at a studio, you can use blocks to make stepping stones across a river, and then they have to jump into a hula hoop, which ends up being a volcano, so they have to quickly get out, and you can put these between each of the parts of the obstacle course, and when they jump on it, they have to get down on the mat. I lay out a mat and put 3 of these, and they have to do those 3 to move on to the next thing. They stack yoga blocks and make it igloo or a castle or whatever theme you're doing. I put a meditation cushion, and they have to flip over a sand timer and sit there silently in meditation pose for 1 minute. So just fun. It's really fun. for them and for you. So that was yoga and games. And we usually do a game no matter what the theme is. But other themes I've done are glow yoga, where you get glow sticks and glow face paint, and you get a black light, and like they just go wild. That one's for nighttime. Turn on some techno music and have a yoga dance party, a freeze dance. You can have these, or even kids yoga cards, and just be like, when I turn off the music, I'll show you what our pose is and we'll all do it. So then they all go wild for a minute, and then you pause it, turn on the light really quick, show them this, everybody jumps into it, and then back to the dance party. We've done yoga and movie. So I got a projector from, they had one at the studio I was at, and we did our yoga flow, and then we had some popcorn ready to go. And we watched, I think it was a Christmas movie or something for Christmas time. Everybody, I think, wore their PJs, if I remember right. You can theme it with the holidays, with Halloween. They could dress up. You could do like a spin on trick or treat. It's really, kids are so happy to do anything. So they are excited easily about, like, you know, when you make it fun. About the snack, I want to mention, make sure that it's, if you're using a studio space, it's not a super messy snack like popcorn or super sticky. Even if you might want to double think using the paint, because it can make quite a mess, and then you'll be there for hours cleaning it up like I was once. So I recommend like a cleaner snack, or laying down a big quilt for the snack time area, and then you can just wrap it up and shake it outside. Just a little tip from my experience. Unless you enjoy cleaning and sweeping floors. We have done themed snacks, like in the winter we made these little marshmallow snowmen. There's tons of stuff on Pinterest. Try to make it fun for them. So it's, you know, I'll just let you know like the general flow. So we usually start out, make sure you have someone there to help you with registration, because the parents come in and they're just trying to get to their date night and they're in a hurry, and if they haven't paid online, they want to pay you and fill out the waiver, and then one of them has this allergy they really want to talk to you about, and you just really need another person there controlling the kids and getting them to like take off their shoes and put them in this station, and then we come have a seat. I've printed coloring pages before and just had different sets of crayons around for them to just kind of be like a busy work. Almost like when you were in school and your teacher had work for you to do on the board, for, like before roll was called. That kind of thing. You want to keep them occupied. Otherwise, times when I haven't done that early on with this, they just kind of start to go wild with all the props, and they are throwing a big exercise ball and they're screaming, and then it's hard to bring them down from that. So you want to have it set up. You want to be prepared. Have the snack already prepared. So typically they'll register. That takes several minutes. The time really flies. And then I usually jump right into yoga flow. I model them just for fun, like we do the zoo, and it's almost like a story that I'm telling them, like, have you ever been to the zoo? Like, let's pretend we're zookeepers and we'll reach up high towards the sun, and then look, we're passing the lions, and you get down and do tabletop and do lion's breath, and just make it fun. I mean, even making it up on the spot is like, sometimes that's the best. Another one for Easter, we did like a baby chick. We started in embryo pose and like pretended we were in this shell, and we were exploring the shell with, and exploring the space in the egg with, like in tabletop, reaching the right hand forward and the left leg back. Why can't I think of that pose name right now? Anyway, you know what I mean. Just like moving around in tabletop, doing cat-cow, just exploring all the space that you can have in an imaginary egg. And then we popped, and then we saw a beautiful tree, and we were happy under the tree. We did tree pose. So just fun stories like that. So registration, the yoga flow, and then usually you want to model it like a breathing in and breathing out rhythm. So the yoga would be breathing in, and then they need to do something a little more wild and breathe out. So maybe an obstacle course, or like a game that's, they can kind of really move and not have to do this pose, but do more self-expression. And then a breathing in would be snack. And then a breathing out would be another game or the dance party or whatever. And then breathing in a story. You could bring in like a mindfulness story about expressing emotions. I like to bring in those social emotional. I study to be a school counselor, so I have a lot of social emotional children's books that I am just such a sucker for. I always buy them because they're so cute and they teach kids really important things. Teaching them how to identify and manage their emotions mostly, or just about friendship or different topics. You could do it on anything. You can also model your yoga flow after a story. So you could, one day I did the 12 days of Christmas, and as we flipped through the pages, I had gone through and like, let's see if I can think of one. Like we imagined we were Santa Claus fitting down the chimney and we did mountain with our arms up. Can't remember. Anyway, you get the point. Just making it fun. And then make sure you allow a lot of time at the end for Shavasana. The kids love Shavasana. I swear it's their favorite, just like it is for adults. It's really so sweet because they just cannot wait to get quiet and still and cozy on their mat. I get out the yoga blankets and they're allowed to grab like a bolster as a pillow, and I spray them with magic spray or fairy dust or something, and I might do a chime or just make it really special. Oftentimes I'll read a meditation from this wonderful book of meditations. I highly recommend it for children. It's called Star Bright by Maureen Garth. I might share one with you all if we have time at the end. But I'll read like a children's meditation or just have them relax for a few minutes, and I'll say I'm setting the timer, and when the sand runs out, you'll hear the bell, and that's when you can get up. So yeah. And if you do have like a defiant child, or they're just not participating, or they're unruly, that happens. They're kids and they have different behavioral capabilities, and I've encountered all of those kinds of things, and they have different abilities, and they might get discouraged easily if they're not able to do the yoga pose, just like we are as adults. Just encouraging them, being gentle when you do have to kind of reprimand a child, and make sure they understand the rules and expectations of the night. Like, I'm the teacher here, or, I'm guiding this. I will give you an opportunity to speak in just a minute, kind of thing. If they keep interrupting you, or you could say, we're going to have a designated time for storytelling in just a moment. I can't wait to hear your stories. Please raise your hands. It's important to have control in a kind way, just to make sure that all the children are enjoying and one child's not just sucking all the energy out of the room, because sometimes they do that. Sometimes they don't get enough attention at home, or this is just how they've learned to behave. It's how they get what they want, and so it's all they know. So you might have to deal with some of those things, and you'll just kind of have to play it by ear as it goes. So make sure you have some ideas on how you will handle behavior issues. Like, it's kind of up to you, and you'll have to do some research on that and figure it out as it goes. You could probably look online for some good options. I'm not going to share what I think is best, because it's kind of up to everybody how they want to manage that. When is the best time for this? Weekends. Saturday mornings or evenings are usually best, and a 6-week series, like I mentioned, might be ideal. How much to charge? So generally these classes are 2 hours, and I'm telling you, it flies by. And I will usually charge $20 for the first child and $15 for the second, or any additional children after that. That seems fair to me. I like to price my events as low as possible so that they're more accessible for everybody. So if in your community you know that other kids yoga teachers are charging more, by all means set your own price. That's just what works for me right now. And the parents seem very pleased, and I actually have received tips before. And when you have 15 kids, I mean, that's a lot of money that you're making. So try to make it reasonable. We're not out here to gouge people. We're here to help people. but you also want to make sure that you are helping yourself first and that you're getting what you think you're worth and what you think you deserve. You're your own boss, so you set your pay scale. But I will say, like, if you charged more, maybe only 7 kids could come, and those are the more, might be on a higher socioeconomic level. And when you make it more accessible, or you even offer scholarships, figuring in enough to cover a scholarship for an underprivileged child might be something to think about, because sometimes those are the kids who need yoga and meditation the most. As far as advertising goes, I love postermywall.com. Postermywall.com. It's a free website you can use. You can upload your own photos and choose fonts and choose templates that are already made. I use it every time. They work great. They're beautiful. Even for my retreats, I use those. I've even just written a story on Instagram on the stories option with a picture. Just a simple poster like that is so easy for online. So yeah, have a loose plan for kids yoga. You want to, the main thing is be flexible and let your inner child out to play. So when I first started kids yoga, I was like very regimented. I was back to my elementary school teaching days where you have to like exert yourself as the teacher and, make sure they know, like the first 2 weeks of school, the teacher doesn't smile kind of thing. But that doesn't work with yoga, because it's a loving environment. It's a healing environment, and you want the children to feel good. And so taking a kinder approach and just really allowing your inner child out to meet them at their level is, I think, the best approach for kids yoga. So make room for silly. Be kind and be in charge. Make room for silliness, make room for spontaneity. Kids really they have so many stories, and they want to share every single one about their brother's cousin's dog and how it has polka dots. And they like to be silly and encourage that. And just let them show off, let them share, and see what you can learn even. I always get so enriched from these. It's really amazing what the kids teach us. I always say my children are my greatest teachers, and I'm so thankful to be in the presence of children. They have such great chi energy and such youthful playfulness that really ignites your inner child and helps you to remember to not take life so seriously and to have fun and to laugh and play and dance. So have fun with kids yoga. If you have any questions, I'm happy to share anything I can. Oh, this is a great book, Yoga for Children. It's got lots of game options and poses and full graphics here. I've used this a lot. As far as rewards go, at the end of class, you could give out stickers or like any kind of thing. Kids just really like stickers. They're powerful. Okay, let's end with this short little meditation from that book, Star Bright by Maureen Garth. You can get that on Amazon, actually. So if you want to participate in this, they are useful for adults as well as children. Go ahead and make yourself comfortable. You can set your phone down, and we'll just take a couple deep breaths. So continue with those deep breaths in your seated or lying down position. As you walk down the path in your special garden, you feel the warmth of the sun caressing you. There's a very gentle breeze blowing, and you can hear the birds calling to each other. There's nothing in your garden that can harm you. Each and every creature lives in harmony with the others. I want you to feel the peace that is flowing in your garden and the gentleness of all who live there. Your path is winding through the trees, and it will take you to a water hole where all the animals come to drink. When you go down to the water's edge, you will find the animals coming over to say hello to you. There are tortoises who are very slow and ponderous and love to feel that sunshine on their shells. And the proud white swans go by gracefully, while the ducks make lots of noise. Now you can see some deer coming down to drink, and walking with them are lions and tigers. You can pat them when they reach you and give them a big cuddle, as all these creatures love being cuddled. In your garden, there are no fierce animals because they have no reason to be afraid, and neither have you. The hippopotamuses are having a lovely time, washing themselves and each other with the water, and now the elephants are joining in. I think you should step into the water and swim with them. If you feel a little tired, you can climb on the back of the elephant and let it hose you down. I can see the giraffes coming to drink. If you get out of the water now, I'm sure you can have a ride on the back of one of them. Yes, you're getting onto the giraffe's back now, and off you go. Because you're sitting up so high, you can see into the trees, and it's wonderful to be able to do this. You can stroke the kangaroos and look into their pouches, very gently, of course. And there's a squirrel. Isn't it a busy little creature? I'm going to leave you now to explore your garden with your newfound friends. If you want to get off the giraffe's back and go by foot, that's all right. Perhaps you might decide to ride on a tiger for a change. There's so much to see and do, and I know you will have a lovely, lovely time. And I'm just going to let you continue to play in the garden with all of the animals for a few more moments until our time runs out, and I'll gently ring the bell when it's time to wake up. And so, I would say something like that, and then the children have 1 or 2 minutes to just kind of imagine or breathe or whatever happens during their Shavasana experience. But I think these are so beautiful. They're a great way to get your kids to sleep if you have kids at home. You could read them a meditation at night, and what a sweet way to fall asleep, just hearing your parents' voice read you one of those sweet stories. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that this proves beneficial for you. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a private message on Slack or drop a comment on this video. Namaste.